Gentleman down here to my left making cocktails, and the very talented chef Nico Albert to my right, getting ready to show us a component of our third course that I think a lot of people are frightened to tackle.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are intimidated by risotto, and it's really not. It's so easy. It's really easy. So I thought I would just kind of show you the basics of a very, very simple risotto, which is what I'm serving tonight. It's nothing fancy. It's just rice with a little cheese in it and, you know, a little love. So all you do is start out with a nice big, kind of flat-bottomed pan is usually the easiest. Either way, you want it to be larger around than it is deep because you want it to be constantly stirring. And I've just got olive oil and butter in here, and I'm going to do 2 cups of arborio rice, which is a Spanish-style rice. Well, Spanish and Italian, they've both got versions of this particular grain of rice, but it's basically just a really short, fat grain of white rice. And that allows you to create kind of that starchy, saucy, creamy risotto.
Which is also why this went straight in there without being rinsed.
Exactly. You never want to rinse it because you are wanting to create kind of a creamy sauce. The rice makes its own sauce once you add your stock or whatever you're using. So,
you're letting that, and what was the fat in the bottom? Was it butter?
Butter and olive oil. And that's just for flavor, and also what I'm doing right now is toasting the rice, which is going to give it, well, a nice toasty flavor and kind of take the raw flavor out of the rice. And then after it's been toasting for a little bit, and you can do variations on this in any number of ways. You can start with garlic and onions in the pan, you can start with some mushrooms in the pan, any kind of flavoring that you want to go with. But since I'm just doing a super basic technique demonstration, I'm just doing rice. And then all you do is take some form of liquid. And this right here is chicken stock.
And we want to have this heated first? Is
yes.
It heated? Okay.
Yeah. And this is nice and hot. And you just pour probably about 2 cups at a time. So I've got 2 cups of rice going with 2 cups of stock. And a lot of people are intimidated by risotto because they think it requires constant, watching and stirring, and it's really not that finicky. If you make it and you keep your heat on a low flame, then it's not going to all of a sudden stick and burn and be terrible.
Just need to keep
an eye on it. Like, that's why, making risotto, I do it at home all the time because I can leave my pan of risotto and be roasting chicken or doing whatever. Yeah, whatever, making cocktails. Much more fun. And just kind of let this simmer on the stove, and it's so easy. And then what's going to happen is you'll see already that the stock is a little bit cloudy, and that's just the starch from the rice mixing in there. And as you stir it, it becomes creamy and delicious. And then basically you just add a little tiny bit of stock as you go. And that's what my main trick to doing this is as long as you don't go crazy and pour way too much stock in, you're not going to have
up with soup.
Yeah, and that's not going to be good.
And so overall,
I do a cup and then move it down to a cup and a half of stock. Every maybe 5 minutes, you'll see it start to kind of dry out a little bit. Add a little bit more stock, and then just stir. And the whole process takes probably about 20 minutes.
And when you can tell that it's ready,
I just taste as I go. So you will see all of the rice will end up about double in size. So I start out with 2 cups of dry rice. I'm going to end up with about 4 to 5 cups of finished rice. And it'll be just tender. Basically, you want it to be kind of like you want pasta, just a little bit firm in the center and chewy on the outside. And that's how you
see. This is a great thing. Stick a step stool there and let your aspiring little cheflet in the house be in charge of stirring.
The heat's down
low. They're over here.
Exactly. It's perfect for that. Nothing splattering or, there's very little danger involved in risotto. Yeah.
And it's a good continuous activity.
Exactly. Exactly. Very difficult to ruin risotto.
And so with this risotto this evening, we are going to serve
some lamb ossobuco, which ossobuco is a traditional Italian dish, usually made with oxtail, but this is a variation where we use lamb, and it's actually a leg of lamb that is cut to resemble the oxtail, since lamb are so much smaller. But yeah, I just roasted it with some vegetables and port wine and some chicken stock, and just let it cook low and slow for, I think it's been in there for 3 hours. 3 hours, yeah, and just until it's really tender. And the fun part about lamb and ossobuco in general is that you get this beautiful bone in the middle, and it's full of bone marrow, which is delicious meat butter.
It's for the audience, just so the audience knows, it's terrible, it's horrible, you don't want it. I will come around the plate, you may deposit your bones.
Collect your leftover bones and we'll dispose of it for you. It's awful stuff. Yeah, so and then this is going to be topped with a salad of watercress and fresh mint. So that's going to kind of brighten it up because this is buttery and rich and, it's definitely.
And this is going to go with a white Negroni.
Yes, white Negroni. So that's also, the idea behind that pairing is that you've got a really rich, and normally meant for winter time. You usually see braised dishes in winter, but I loved braised. I love braised meat so much that I eat it in the summer no matter what. I don't care. So the idea is you pair it with this kind of nice, refreshing cocktail, and it brightens the whole thing up. So.
I like it. What do you think? Should we maybe wrap this up and eat it? All right, once again, when the audience speaks, stick with us. We're going to be right back with more Tasting Oklahoma in the beautiful Galley Sink Test Kitchen.
Yay!